Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Echohawk's incredible Dungeons & Dragons analytics, which are edition specific. And today we're going to talk about his numbers for all editions of Dungeons & Dragons. So let's do it. Okay, if you got everything from 1974 to today in 2025, if you bought every unique new product for Dungeons & Dragons, here's what you would have. You would have, and I'm rounding these off to the closest logical increment, 1,250 distinct products. Wow. They would come to a total of 124,000 pages, which means that it would round off to about 100 pages per product, which is interesting. The reason why is the products we're talking about are folios, soft covers, hard covers, and box sets. Box sets and folios are often very short, right? Like they don't have a lot in them, page count wise. They often have a lot in them component wise, which is really, really interesting. And then if you had bought all 1,250 of those products, you would have spent $23,000. Okay. Now, I think that would be money well spent. I'm not talking about investment. I'm not talking about if you would be able to resell it. I'm just saying it would honestly, I would love to own every D&D product for 23 grand, right? Like if you had just bought every single product, you'd own everything for $23,000. And I honestly, I think that'd be pretty awesome. You can't do that today. You absolutely cannot do that today. I just looked it up, and if you wanted to get the most, arguably the most rare and difficult piece, which would be the OD&D white box, you could do that right now. You can get a pre-owned copy today on Noble Knight Games for $1,800, which is like 6%, maybe 7% of the entire purchase price of 23 grand, which is really interesting. So we've reached the point where we're talking about all editions, and I just wanted to take one more minute and just say, holy cows, Echohawk really did an amazing job. He worked incredibly hard to bring these numbers. I believe his numbers are extremely well sourced. This was an epic achievement, and I'm so thankful to Echohawk for the work that he did. And I cannot stress to you enough to go check out these articles. He has 3 articles, one that covers from the edition perspective, one that covers from the setting perspective, and one that covers everything from the magazine perspective. It is every Dungeon Master, it is every Dragon Master content. Everybody needs to be looking at this stuff direct. Absolutely incredible. Let's talk a little bit more about Dungeons & Dragons overall and what we learned from these numbers. First of all, Dungeons & Dragons is completely unprecedented in the tabletop, not in the tabletop role-playing game space. It is absolutely unprecedented even in the TTRPG space, but it is absolutely unprecedented on the tabletop gaming space. There's nothing like it. Nothing in the world has 124,000 pages of canon content. That is astonishing. That is absolutely incredible. 1,250 pages. If you took all these products and you stacked them up one on top of another, first of all, you'd put the box sets at the top so they didn't get crushed. But they would be as tall as a 6-story building, right? If you stood on the top of a 6-story building, you could put your hand on the top of the stack. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible, right? And it is literally the work of over 1,000 designers. But more than anything, on every page, you have an indelible, invisible signature of Gary Gygax. Dungeons & Dragons is really the work of Gary Gygax and well over 1,000 designers, right? And Professor Dungeon Master actually, submitted canon content to D&D. I believe he specifically got material into Dungeon magazine, Dragon magazine. He actually got content into Dragon magazine. Teos Abadia, Sean Merwin, just a lot of unsung heroes, right? One of my favorite, actually, I'm incredibly blessed in my local area. Ed Stark lives in my local area. I saw him at Philadelphia Gaming Expo, and I saw him at CleezaCon, and I follow him on Facebook now. He's just a regular guy. Like, it's pretty incredible. But actually, it is interesting. Like, he's a regular guy most of the time, but then every now and then, like, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna fly you to Japan because you're an epic designer," and he is, right. Like, this is really incredible, just exactly how far all this stuff has gone. Echohawk is, when you look at these numbers, you get a sense of the truth of it, just how incredibly impacting on American culture Dungeons and Dragons is. This is an astonishing achievement by 1,000+ designers, each one of them standing on the shoulder of Gary Gygax, right? And what's wild is Dungeons and Dragons not only provides us this incredible experience, this way to transform how we as human beings interact with narrative, this incredible experience on how we interact with our own identity, and forging new paths for narrative and identity for human beings. But it is really, it's really astonishing, like, it just what's been accomplished and how powerful all of this really is. And it's really, really something. So not only is it an astonishing accomplishment, but then other people continue to come along and plus it, right? I've been incredibly blessed by Echohawk's work, just because what it really is it's shining a black light on Dungeons and Dragons. But one of the things that's nice is, when I think, a lot of times, but what's illuminated is beautiful, right? Like, there's no bugs skittering out. I think as we look at Dungeons and Dragons, we realize that Gary Gygax really gave the greatest secular gift humanity has ever received, right? It's really incredible. I was just really blown away by what Echohawk did, and I just wanted to say thank you to Echohawk. This was really a phenomenal amount of work. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.